Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Welcome back to the final reaction of the series. Tom's not here, he's on holiday. He has sent me his thoughts in a separate video, so I'll put them in after I've had my moment. I wasn't going to do this last night because of the fact that I was just so annoyed, it sounds daft, but the show is completely creatively bankrupt at the minute. Russell just can't not work with his mates, and we're just going to keep partying like it's 2006 apparently, rather than just doing something new. The reality war, I just don't even know where to begin. There's moments in there, just tiny little moments that I really, really liked. There's also some utter bollocks as well. I think having the two Ranis there, and one of them gets eaten by a big CGI Omega, the other one just does a two Ranis joke and just pieces out. Fine, whatever. There we are then. I'm going to start with the positives first. I thought the performances all round were phenomenal, as per usual. Ncuti Gatwa, Millie Gibson, Varda Sethu, all three of them are far too good to be doing this nonsense, and I hope they go on to do bigger and amazing things. They were all fantastic. My favourite scene in the whole episode is that scene in the TARDIS where they've got Poppy and the wish has been stopped, but they're passing, the Doctor and Belinda are passing back that jacket, which slowly just sort of shrinks and disappears into nothing while Ruby looks on. And Millie Gibson, without saying a word in that scene, just sells the whole thing just by looking absolutely devastated. And it's so good. That was really, really good. The score by Murray Gold, I think one of the best bits of work he's done for a while. From some Series 10 music as well. Maybe that soundtrack will appear one day, hopefully. I don't know. What else did I like? Some good moments, some funny moments as the wish is sort of stopped. And there's the joke about, I'm wearing a suit, I'm wearing tweed, I'm wearing nylon. That was a laugh. It was nice to see Anita back. I was really hoping we'd get to see a bit more of Anita before Ncuti inevitably went, and it felt earned. The initial part in the hotel anyway, and the idea of keeping the real time flowing through. Why they just needed to have a pregnant Anita hold the door open for the majority of the episode when they could have just, I don't know, got a doorstop or some kind of just a heavy box or something, would have probably done the same thing, and you wouldn't have had to have a pregnant character just standing there holding a door open. Is bizarre. And the characters, as good as all of the actors were, the character work in this is just all over the shop. Belinda especially gets absolutely just nerfed. Her character thing is just completely nuked. She's not the same. The Belinda that we know for most of this series never actually existed. She's basically dead. And it's the fact that Belinda wanted to get home so bad because she was actually the mother to Poppy in the real world. And all of the stuff we've seen about Belinda not wanting to be tied down anywhere and wanting, she has her job and she wants to do that, and is just undone because she's got a baby. And it's just like, there's more to that character. We've seen, and Belinda has been so shortchanged ever since Lucky Day, really. She gets a good few bits in Interstellar Song Contest, but in stuff like Story in the Engine, which I loved, she doesn't get much to do. She's only in one scene of Lucky Day, and then her entire character arc is rewritten for the finale. And whilst Varda Sethu absolutely acts his socks off like she has done the entire season, the rest of it just falls completely flat on its arse, and I just think it's the most bizarre thing in the world. The way the Ranis are stopped, I rolled my eyes. I think you could hear my eyes roll back into my head when that door opened and a big CGI hand popped out, voiced by Nicholas Briggs. I thought, really? You could have just had someone in the original suit and just maybe, I don't know, give it a bit of like souping up maybe. But that original Omega design is so good that would have worked. That would have really worked. And instead, the Doctor just defeats him by the Vindicator being a big laser gun as well, which would just never happened until now because it wasn't needed to. And it's just such a cop out. And it's 2 years in a row now where we've just had a classic monster from obscurity come back and just be a big CGI Titan thing. And I'm just like, it's fine. The design of Omega is fine in isolation, but it doesn't work as a design of Omega for me personally. I just think that it's just shite. I really think that they wasted Archie Panjabi and Mrs. Flood and Anita Dobson. You build Anita Dobson up for 2 years, for her to play second fiddle to the new Rani, who then just wants to bring back Omega. It's just like this domino effect of we need a bigger bad, we need a bigger bad, and it's just so stupid. The stuff in Unit was good fun. It was probably the most engaging part of the episode when they're actually fighting the Bone Beast and everyone goes into sort of battle mode. That was nice. I liked the little bit where Mel gets to see the Rani again and they have a little bit of a bickering contest. That was fun. What else did I like? Oh, Jodie Whittaker. That was really cool. I'm really glad that they did that because it would have been so easy for them to just wheel David Tennant out again. But instead they decided to go and give Jodie another scene, which I really liked. I was a fan of that. Genuinely nice surprise to see her there, slipping effortlessly back into the role without, there was nothing there. It was as if she'd never been away. And I like the stuff where she sort of mentions Yaz and the doctor explains how she never really tells Yaz, but she knows how she feels and everything. That was a nice little sort of coda to that era. And it was just a lovely scene. That was about it, really, in terms of stuff I liked. The rest of it was just fucking drivel. Russell T Davies is a hack fraud and the show is creatively bankrupt, which is mad because it's a show where you could literally do absolutely anything. It's the one TV show that can never really get old because all you've got to do is just get new people involved. But for some reason, and this isn't just a Doctor Who problem, there's lots of other shows and franchises that have this issue, but we all need to stay partying like it's like, remember this stuff that you liked from before? Well, here it is again, because the Doctor regenerates. Devastated to see Ncuti Gatwa go so early. I mean, he's had 18 episodes, but he's not really in 3 of them. And it's just a waste because he's so good, especially this year. It's like he really clicks with what he wanted to do with the character. And we've seen him do all these different emotions. Like he's got, I think, one of the strongest ranges of any Doctor that we've had. Fuck's sake. Like, to have him... It's such a shit regeneration idea. Like, the Doctor needs to regenerate, put some regeneration energy into the time vortex to nudge everything back to how it was, rather than just nudging everything back to how it was. But because he's got to regenerate, it's now fatal. And I just don't get it. It's so stupid. I really didn't like it, and I don't like the fact that Belinda gets put in a box with Poppy for most of the action, and the idea that we have to make sure we save Poppy, but because if the wish collapses, then Poppy won't exist. Whereas, never mind all the disabled people or trans people or everything that don't fit into Conrad's warped view of reality that literally have been, like in Rose's case, blinked out of existence for her, which is great because the day is saved and she comes back to stand around and do absolutely fuck all again. I haven't got an issue with Rose as a character, but I'm like, why is she there if she's not actually going to do anything? It's a similar way to how I felt about Bonnie Langford last week. She barely does anything, and it's not much better this week, but it's very nice to see here. But I don't know, I feel like they did everything they needed to with Rose in the Star Beast. Love it or hate it, I'm not a fan of the whole female presenting Time Lord and all of that, because it doesn't work, because in universe he was only a female Time Lord an hour ago. But fine, whatever, I can live with it. But then she's brought back here to do nothing. Kate and Ibrahim are fun as always. But just the idea of bringing Billie Piper back as the new Doctor. I mean, we don't know for certain if she is the new Doctor. I personally don't give a shit anymore anyway. This is just reeks of desperation. You've gone from having the first female Doctor to hit the emergency 2000s button and bring back David Tennant. And I was nervous about that at the time, sort of how would this work? And it surprised me by actually working relatively well. I think the reasoning's a bit weak, but the logistics I can understand behind it. You've got a new Doctor, but he's not actually available yet because Ncuti was wrapping up stuff like Sex Education and the Barbie movie and all that. So you can't do that. And I get sort of not wanting to launch a new Doctor with also the weight of an anniversary stuff as well. So yeah, sure, why not bring back some of the old guard? That's when you do it. That's when you go full fat. But there's been more references to the past in Ncuti's actual era than there was in the 60th. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. There's over-reliance on the past. I'm a sucker for the past. I'm not saying that we should never, ever bring anything back. But the fact that Ncuti Gatwa's tenure has ended with him facing the Toymaker, Sutekh, 2 Ranis, Omega, but not a Dalek in sight. Not a Dalek in sight. And he's the first Doctor now since Paul McGann to not get a Dalek story on screen. He's one of only 2 Doctors to not get a Dalek story. 14 as well, I suppose. But it's just... bizarre. Like, there's 3 different finales in there. And where the hell was Susan? After that's 2 finales in a row now where Susan has just been like dangled and gone. There were 2 different scenes where I thought that we were going to get Susan. I thought it would be something to do with the time hotel where Anita can open a door to Susan. Or when he wakes up in the garden at the end, I thought, oh, are we going to see Susan here? No, we don't. I like the slight changing of the regeneration effect. It's done something a little bit different this time. I'm glad it wasn't a bi-generation. I hope that never happens again. But I just think it's bizarre. Of all the people, of the whole thing, of the whole like pool of actors in the UK that you could have chosen, you went with Billie fucking Piper. Not that I don't like Billie Piper. I think she's a great actress. I just don't see the point. It reeks of desperation. It reeks of creative bankruptcy, which shouldn't happen with Doctor Who. I think that from now on, more new writers, more and more new writers, or at least the writers who are relatively new to the show. We don't need to keep having the same shtick every single time. It's a show where you can literally go and do anything you want with it, literally anything in the world. But we're coming back and we're bringing back the same actors. I mean, it probably would have, if Christopher Eccleston would answer his phone, it would probably be him, and I'd be more than happy for that. But at the same time, I just think it's a shame to go from the first female Doctor to the emergency panic button to then the first black Doctor to hit the emergency panic button. It feels like a step backwards, and I don't like that. It should be at a point now where we're doing new stuff all the time. The episodes I've enjoyed most from Ncuti's era have been the episodes that have done something different, with the exception of The Well, which is a sequel, which is fine. Every now and then, do a sequel. But it doesn't need to be every single, not every single finale needs to have a returning monster. Not every single season needs to have a returning villain. We can just do new things and have the occasional return here and there. Because it's got Doctor Who's a show with a rich history. Why not do a return every now and then? But focus on the new. We need to create the things that in 20 years' time will be the surprise returns, not bringing more and more obscure things back. Because I don't know who's going to come. Who's going to come back next? I mean, what else is there to do? The Rani never really felt like the Rani in this. It was a very Master style plot. It was the Master with a different name. There's so much of this to me that just doesn't work. And it's a shame because I thought overall this season had been so strong overall. I wasn't too fussed on Lucky Day, and the Interstellar Song Contest is some very, very wonky politics, but the rest of them I've enjoyed. I've come away from going, that was pretty decent. I wasn't too much a fan of Wishworld the first time round, watched it again. Quite enjoyed it actually. I like a bit more of the alternate reality stuff. It's just as soon as that disco ball appears, it all just falls apart. But I've got so many thoughts on this and I can't string them to hit because all I can see is Billie Piper smiling in my head, and it's just the show being completely creatively bankrupt, and it's like they've got no faith. If you want to create the future of Doctor Who, you've got to believe in the future of Doctor Who. You can't just try and do something and then go, all right, well, we tried that, we'll go back to 2000. No, stop doing that. Do something new. Cast new people. Like, all of the talent out there. You could have had literally anyone who's good for the role. Man, woman, anyone. Right? The Doctor can literally... We've established now that the Doctor can be anyone. And you've gone and cast your companion from 2005 and 2006. Even though they brought Billie Piper back again towards the end of David Tennant's era, and then brought Billie Piper back for the 50th, playing a different sort of version of Rose. And now Billie Piper's back as the Doctor? Question mark? I don't know. Literally, I think I'd have rather, if they were going to bring other people back, I'd have rather than brought like Paul McGann back or Joe Martin or another Doctor that, could have done with a bit more screen time, which is basically those two, or Christopher Eccleston, but we all know that would never happen. And it just, I don't know. Maybe it'll work. I think maybe I'm being negative and I'll go into it and it'll actually take me by surprise. But I've not got high hopes. This finale has killed any interest I had for new Doctor Who. I'm kind of relatively glad it's finished, to be honest, because it means I can just fucking forget about it for a while. Because we don't know when anything new is going to happen. It depends on what Disney decide. It won't be until, I imagine, 2027, very, very, if they get into production quickly, maybe towards the end of 2026. But I don't know. I don't care. We got the Sea Devil spin-off trailer. Looks a bit shite, to be honest. I don't really like the design of the Sea Devils. Maybe that, and I'm hoping that'll surprise me as well. I'll watch it, but I'm not excited for it. I'm not excited for any kind of new Doctor Who now until there's an overhaul in the production office and we get new people in. I don't know why we have to have this rule that you have to be a fan to be a showrunner of Doctor Who. You can just be someone who knows how to run Doctor Who. Get fans to write the occasional episode here and there, but you can just have someone who can, as long as you know the basics of Doctor Who, of what it is in terms of time-traveling alien with friends who go through time and space together and go on adventures, and there are things called Daleks and things like that you can occasionally bring back. That's all you really need, and that's what basically anybody in the UK will have a basic knowledge of what Doctor Who is. I don't know. Thank you for paying attention to my little rant. I'm going to put Tom's thoughts in here. He'll probably be more positive than me because that's how it works. And we'll be back at some point in the next couple of weeks with a season 2 wrap up, go through our predictions and rank the episodes, and then probably a Ncuti Gatwa tier list, and probably stitch the 60th specials onto that as well. Do a tier list, and then back to Big Finish, or as I like to call it, proper Doctor Who, and carry on with the 8th Doctor stuff there. Maybe touch on the 11th Doctor stuff as well. But quite frankly, I need a break from this nonsense, and I'm glad it's on it, and I'm glad it's over. Series 2 has been some genuinely brilliant bits of Doctor Who, and some utter shit, mostly in the reality war, to be fair. But hey-ho, there we are. Thanks for watching. Tom, take it away.
So, obviously this weekend we've been apart for this episode, and I hate it. I actually really enjoyed this episode. It was a lot better than last year's, and last week's as well. Sorry, I'm sat on the canal. It's quite nice by here. We start with the Doctor getting saved by the Time Hotel, and it's just madness, but that's containing real time, which allows him to snap back into reality a bit, and he keeps the time doors open into the unit HQ, so he can keep real time flowing through and bring everyone back, and they have a big fight. Okay, thank you. Sorry, I was a waitress at the restaurant I'm at. I've had to sneak out to do this because so much happened, and I don't know. I'm going to have to rewatch it all. Real time comes through, units start fighting everyone, blah, blah, blah. But the Rani's open the thing to let Omega out. Omega eats the one Rani, and Mrs. Flood buggers off with a time bracelet. And then that's kind of it, really. Omega was done dirty. It was a big hype for nothing. That was a bit flat for me. But then you get this whole thing about Poppy and her being a big thing, and the Doctor's daughter and part-time Lord. And then that turns out that she's not a big thing. She buggers off. I say buggers off. She doesn't really. She was there, then she wasn't. Ruby remembered her. No one else did. And then she was there again at the end, and it was alright. It felt like it followed the exact same formula as Empire of Death. It was just a lot better. Empire of Death was a shower of shit, and I apologise to Will for the edit for this one. But we had to deal with it again in the same formula. Conrad as well got wished away because Ruby jumped in, kissed the baby, and went, "I wish you were happy," to Conrad, and that was nice. Blah blah blah. Then Ruby wished the world back. It was a big reset button about halfway through the episode. So Omega didn't feel as big as it was panned out to be. It was, as I said, it left me feeling quite flat, quite disappointed in all this hype, and we get a minute maybe of him, and then he gets ousted by the what is it? The thing. I've already forgotten it. The Vindicator. That's the one. So he gets ousted by that, and then we don't see Omega again. The Charlie Rani is dead. Mrs. Flood is alive. We don't know where she is, but she's still alive. So the Rani is still out there. And then we get a scene in the TARDIS, where the Doctor's realised he needs to find a way of getting Poppy back, because reality's come back without one life that was there originally, and unfortunately it means he has to sacrifice himself, pumps a lot of regeneration in there, and it does end his reign as the 15th Doctor. But we get a wonderful cameo, and I never thought I'd be so happy to see Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor again. It was really nice, little cameo, just a lovely scene between the two. I really enjoyed it. It was so good. And then you get all the stuff with the regeneration energy whipping around the TARDIS, and that was cool. And then you get the big regeneration scene right at the end. I never thought that we'd see who the Doctor was regenerating into. It covered the face, and I thought, oh, credits, that's it. But no, I still don't know what to make about this. I was excited when I saw it. I don't know. The new Doctor is Billie Piper. Fuck off. The new Doctor is Billie Piper. I don't know what to make of that. Quite frankly, I apologise for the ambulance, but yeah, I don't know what to make of the new Doctor being Billie Piper. Obviously, fans will know she played Rose in 2005 to effectively 2009. She tied up that story arc in Russell T Davis's first era, and now it's evident she's coming back to play the Doctor in 2027, I believe, because they have confirmed, well, there's strong indications that Doctor Who will return in 2027 with or without the Disney budget. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know what's going to happen, but we have our second female Doctor. I just hope this one lands and the writing's there for her. But the regeneration sequence itself was brilliant. I really liked it. The TARDIS lights shutting off as the Doctor walked to the doors to regenerate with the whole universe. And it was a really nice, wholesome moment. You got Anita back from Joy to the World at Christmas, which was the best part of the Christmas special. That was really nice. You got a lot of callbacks to the Doctor's, to the 15th Doctor's run, and again, really nice. I just feel Omega should have been more of a threat, and he wasn't. He's posed as the big bad, making the Rani play second fiddle to him, and both the Rani and Omega fell flat in this for me, and I don't know what to make of it. I still love the episode. I mean, this is coming straight off watching it, but yeah, I loved it, but at the same time, I don't know what to make of it with what's happened, and I don't know where we go from here, to be honest. But hey, I'm looking forward to it. That's it from me. Make sure you like, share and subscribe to the channel, please, because it really does help us out and we really do appreciate it. We apologise for the format. We will be back soon together for a full rewatch. But yeah, this has been a strange one, this one. I'm in lovely Stratford-on-Avon, sat on the River Avon having a dinner at a Mediterranean restaurant. It's been really nice. I watched Doctor Who with my family, and I've had a really nice evening. I did enjoy this. I think the setting and the people I was with helped. But big shout out to Will for putting all this together. I really appreciate it. But yeah, as I said, like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Also, I completely forgot, it was an afterthought. Susan, where the hell was she? She never made it into this video, into the film at all. She was just the biggest prick tease of the era, and it was really disappointing that she weren't in there. She deserved it. They'd been teasing it too much, and we get nothing for it, so we'll see what they best do something with it, because they can't just leave us hanging like that. That's 2 years in a row, and we've had little glimpses, and yeah, sort it out, Russell.
Well, thank you very much, Tom. As he said, thank you for your continued support, like and subscribe, all of that nonsense. We'll be back with a season 2 overview in the next couple of weeks, a tier list, and then a break while we catch up on some Big Finish. See you all later. Let us know what you think as well. Am I just screaming into the void, or does it work for you? Do you not like it? Tell me why. I want to know. I'm curious. But apart from that, ta-ra.